Welcome. This is the Academy of Adoption and Assisted Reproduction Attorneys. We are continuing to cover the areas of the world that we have fellows in for reproductive law, and today we're covering the country of Israel. We have two of the absolute most amazing expert attorneys in Israel for you to speak to and get to know, and we'll let them introduce themselves to you. Victoria, do you want to start?
Yeah. Thank you for having us. So I'm Victoria. I'm a mother of two children of my own, and I say that I'm a proud auntie of about 550 children that we helped bring to the world. And I started my path with surrogacy back in around 2004 when I was working with LGBT couples. And one of them came to ask how can they have children. They say, we've been together for 10 years, we've been married, we just want to have children. And I really had to just disappoint them because they couldn't have a child adopted in Israel. They couldn't adopt from abroad. They couldn't have surrogacy in Israel, which is legal in Israel, but only for straight couples, which only changed recently, just half a year ago. But back nearly 2 decades ago, it wasn't an option. And then a light bulb went on that, you see, so there is no adoption in Israel, there's no adoption abroad, there's no surrogacy in Israel, but hey, wait, there's no limitation on surrogacy abroad. And then we went to do that with the first couple, second couple, and we've been doing it since then, basically.
Great. Now, and Daphne, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi. So my name is Daphne. I work with Victoria for almost a decade now, I think. And I've also been practicing surrogacy law ever since 2007. I think with the first couple of couples in India, and with time also in the United States. And it's been a journey.
Wonderful. All right, you two. So I know people are flipping through these videos, trying to figure out what they can't do. Just some basics for them. You already kind of mentioned it a little bit, Victoria, but surrogacy in Israel itself, internally, what do people need to know?
So this is only for Israeli citizens and residents. So there is no surrogacy hub in Israel, and there is actually many couples that want to, and singles who want to undergo surrogacy in Israel, but just aren't enough women who volunteer to be surrogates. It is a compensated surrogacy, so it's not supposed to be altruistic. And I think this is, Israel is supposedly the first country who has written a law on surrogacy and legalized commercial surrogacy back in 1996. And it's only changed in 2018 to allow surrogacy for single women, and only in January 2022 it was allowed to gay couples and single men who then do not need to prove any medical issue. It's just by them being men who cannot bear pregnancy. And we see over the last decade about 60 births per year in the whole country. And in comparison to a few hundreds of cases of Israelis who do surrogacy abroad, it's not comparable, the availability of the process in Israel.
Okay, so it's pushing a bunch of people outside of Israel to go look at other countries. So Daphne, when they are looking at other countries, what kind of advice do you give them?
First of all, for some couples, there aren't that many countries who can that they can perform surrogacy in. For example, a lot of straight couples from Israel try to perform surrogacy. Some of them did it in the Ukraine, which is right now impossible. Others do it in Georgia. And for couples, as of now, the only options that they have is to do it in the United States and in Canada. So the first thing when a couple come, or a single intended parent comes to us, is we try to understand what are their needs. financial needs, and others, and we try to see what would be the best option for them. Sometimes there's a language barrier. Sometimes people are a lot of people, when they come to us, they want to do the process right now, when they need to understand how long it is and how complicated it is. So we're trying to see what will be the best option for each individual.
Okay, and so
I think that
yeah,
maybe
see, you're taking notes.
when Daphne said that basically the options for them are to seek surrogacy in the US or Canada, I think she meant those couples or singles who are aiming for, ethical surrogacy in legalized and stable countries, because there are the cheaper commercial options in Colombia and Mexico and Argentina, some countries that come by and close the doors. But in these countries, most people do know that they are, buying the product of a baby mostly. You cannot really trust that the surrogate is taking well care of, that she's really doing this voluntarily without any pressure from elsewhere. So I think that was an important note.
Right.
Yeah, and another thing is that we've been doing it for so long that we've seen many countries in which surrogacy was, I don't know if it's the right thing to say it was legal, but at least it wasn't illegal. And then with time, it changed. And we had many people have so many issues over the years in India, in Thailand, in Nepal, in different countries. So we're trying to.
And Ukraine's a good example of that, right? Where, I mean, surrogacy was actually going a little better, getting a little smoother, actually a little bit more regulation to it, but for obvious reasons right now, Ukraine's not the best option.
Yeah.
Okay. So for both of you, I mean, what's the right time for an Israeli to talk to you, to get you involved in the process if they're looking at surrogacy?
We believe that the right time will be, we should be their first stop before they decide, because it is, as we said, different people have different needs. I think that we have a large perspective and we can kind of steer them to the right direction. And as people come to us after they already started, and then they realized that they had a few options that they were unaware of. So I think that they should start with us.
And Victoria, how important is it for, I mean, I know because I work with you so much, but, for the attorneys, whatever country they do choose to work in, to have everybody working together?
Yeah, so it's definitely a team. And for us, if we're involved from the get-go, then it's easier to just navigate drafting of the legal documents so they fit their requirements on the Israeli authorities part, and then we don't get stuck with paperwork that has been already signed off, but it just doesn't meet the requirements, and then we need to make amendments. So working as a team, thinking about how to run the parentage case, whether to choose to do it in a pre-birth or post-birth or dual way, and how to put the wording exactly that would work with the local court, but would also be acceptable in Israel when they do the parentage process here.
Great. All right. For those of you that are listening, if you are in Israel or have any connection to Israel for anything that you're doing reproductive wise, you need to contact either Victoria or Daphne. That's absolutely necessary. You can find their contact information on the Academy's website. You can go to adoptionart.org. And on that website, there is a map. You can narrow it down to Israel and you can find all of their contact information. And I can, without a doubt, state that either of them are happy to speak to anybody that calls them, especially if you're looking to grow your family. All right. Thank you both for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you, Kim.